Alright, we are live. Now here we go. Okay. This is the Melding Cast, episode number 4. I know we weren't here last week. Yes, it is number 4. I was correct. I'm thinking in my head. We weren't here last week due to Mother's Day scheduling issues, and we had a little bit rough scheduling issues due to finals this week, but we're still going to do a quick one today to make sure we get one out and you guys can hear about new updates from Firefall, what's going on. Was there anything notable last week that we missed to talk about? You remember of? Nothing else. Yeah, last week was kind of a slower week, I think, so it worked out okay in the end. We don't have any special thing planned at the end this week. Our main man Soup has kind of taken a little bit of a tumble or something, and he's not feeling up to it today. So he hurt his ankle or something. I don't know the whole story. Anyways, point is he'll be back. His finals are done. He'll be back around probably with us next week. So we're going to go a quick episode this week just for recent changes and maybe some questions from the chat if you guys want to talk about it. Oh, the quick scoping was last week? Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that was kind of a big thing. I guess we've probably covered that a bit. So yeah, we'll mention that. And then Firewater has to go AFK for us for a second here. Well, Reiji, one of the more prominent snipers that I'm aware of, probably has a lot more to say about quick scoping than I do. As you guys know, I am not much of a sniper myself. So, since we're talking about last week quickscope, go ahead, Reiji. What was your thoughts on the change?
I felt it was kind of a knee-jerk reaction kind of deal. It really did nothing but hurt high-level competitive play. It did nothing against the imbalanced matches that we're having right now, which is where all these complaints are stemming from. So, I mean, if you have a bad recon trying to quickscope, it wouldn't really matter. If you had a good recon doing it against a bad player, that's where all the complaints were coming from. It's people were getting outsniped, or these better recons are killing them faster because they are faster, and now they can't do that because there's a time delay. And I wasn't really appreciative of the way they did it. If you want to have a cap on how fast you can be, you don't make it so that it's random until you hit a certain time. You force them to wait. If it was okay, you don't do max damage until 500 ms, or you cannot fire your gun until 500 ms. Those things would make more sense than just, okay, if you fire before 500 ms, your shot is going to be wherever the hell we want it to be, not where you want it to be. That makes no sense on any skill level. You don't want that in competitive games. It's like the last thing you want to do.
If necessary, there needs to be like a kind of a visual cue as to when your shot's going to be accurate versus when it's not. And I think if the scope is already up, you should be able to fire, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, Punk. I mean, I agree. It took me like one match, and I was already used to the new scope delay, but that's not the point. It's their reasoning behind doing things, and that kind of cascaded into this week, which was the body shot damage nerf. It's just a worrying trend that they are moving away from skill play. I mean, I don't mind that if they want to go in that direction. That's fine, but they need to stop calling it a skill-based shooter if they don't intend on fulfilling that name.
Yeah, I mean,
they can't have their cake and eat it too. They need to pick what they want to be and then go with it.
Yeah, and for me, like, again, I'm not much of a sniper, and from what I've played over the recent couple weeks, I still have that lag issue that I've been having, but much less so that's good for me. But I still die around corners from headshots, like, it still happens. And I can't tell if it's quick scoping or if it's I don't know. It doesn't it doesn't affect me. Yeah. So these whole changes for me just I don't know. It seems like I can't tell the difference. So a lot of these guys who are high end players who you can barely hear who says. Sorry, Tilter. Sorry for interrupting my own train of thought about. I'm trying to make sure everybody can hear each person individually. Okay. Oh, we can hardly hear what Reiji says.
Alright, can you guys hear me?
Are you still having trouble hearing me?
Hello?
Are you able to hear me now?
Hello? Am I muted? Can you guys hear me?
Tilter thinks loud. Okay. Well, Tilter says maybe he's just always low. I don't know. You can try inputting your outbound a little bit higher. I can turn my own sound down if you'd like.
How is that now?
Okay.
I just had a comment on the quick scoping. I'm just curious as to what need they're trying to address. Is it because of complaints that snipers are overpowered? I mean, that's the standard out of any game ever.
Well, I mean, yeah, everyone's going to complain everybody else is overpowered. That's
yeah, I mean, so I'm not sure what need they were trying to address. In my opinion, the Recon was the most balanced class out of the game because they did high outputs of damage at a long range. However, once you got in close, they were pretty much, you know, a liability, and only the really, really skilled ones could get that quick scope headshot.
My issue is they're trying to balance the math, and to me it's not about the math. It's more about situations, right? That's kind of what I think you're heading into. Is you know, because you're far away and you are squishy, you should be able to deal damage from a distance. But if someone catches up to you, the situation has now changed. But I guess a lot of people were saying quickscoping was the solution that made Recons too powerful up close. Because when you did close that gap, they still got you. But
I got a butt in.
Okay.
I made quite a long post about this in one of the threads. There were many, but one of the threads
yes.
I addressed. You know, I never really understood why people think that a recon quick scoping and they're like some kind of god and you have no chance of killing them. You know, if a recon is within like 15 meters of you and is getting a quick scope headshot, that's skill or some very good luck, and they deserve that. But if you can't kill them in the time that it takes them to pull that off, then that's on you. You know, that's kind of where I don't understand why they're changing the body shot damage, because they were already at a severe disadvantage close range. Like, it took 3 shots, 4 shots to kill assaults and dreads. Now it takes more. That's not really a fair position to put them in when they were already at a disadvantage. You know, it took an assault 2 hits to kill a recon, and a dread could kill them even faster if they were tracking them.
And I know that's one of the changes they made this week, actually, too, since we're going to talk about that as well. But it's been back-to-back kind of recon nerfs in the last couple weeks. So, you know, kind of weird. I don't know. Again, my opinions are really, really not that big a deal because I don't play much recon. I play against them, but, you know, more of the general consensus is going to be opposed to my own opinions. So, you know.
Well, here's the thing. I understand the body damage nerf because they're trying to reward skill rather than just shotgun sniping and spam.
Okay.
And I do get that. But I think they should take out the quick scope change, just revert back to the status quo as it was, and leave the body shot damage as it is now. Again, what need are they trying to address? Are there metrics showing them that recons are out-killing every other class hands down? Because I see recons top the map, I've seen dreads top the map, I've seen assaults top the map, occasionally engineers and medics. But your three DPS classes are usually the top of the map. It really depends on who's playing. You know, everything's obviously randomized, but they have the highest amount of burst damage in the game. It would be rational to assume that they may get the most kills a strong percentage of the time. So I don't know. Again, I'm curious as to what needs they're going to address, because they didn't change anything with headshots. So those snipers that, like Reggie said, those high-end snipers that are still going to get a headshot anyways most of the time are still going to get a headshot. So you can't nerf skill. You can only make certain balance changes. You know, I during my time at Natural Selection, that was a Half-Life 1 mod. I used to talk to developers a lot, and their biggest phrase was you can only balance the game, you can't balance the players. So, I mean, the reality is everyone's getting sorted into matches with either pros or people that played the first time, because there's really no matchmaking system, and there's no population to support it yet. So everyone just needs to bide their time, or maybe find a different way to engage snipers. I've played against Superior. He's an excellent player. I'm very grateful that he's on my squad, but he's not unbeatable, and I've beaten him close range as a medic before. He beat me tons of times too. So I mean, players just need to learn how to adapt. But at the end of the day, it's easy to complain and whine about something than to change your own behavior. So that's why I think a lot of these complaints are coming about, and why, you know, it's just, I don't know, I get nervous when developers start listening to the vocal, not-so-skilled crowd. It always makes me very nervous.
But there's a lot of them. That's one of the problems, is that there's a lot of people who don't have a lot of skill. There's a very, very small percentage of the snipers that I've run into who are very skilled snipers. And
very true.
Yeah.
Very true. But however, there's a reason why Blizzard balanced StarCraft using the top 5% of players. Now, granted,
right.
That's an RTS, but there is a reason. Because my question to any, you know, let's say you take your average player, and they're maybe not either fully understand the game or not, or not using certain things in certain situations that can help them.
Right.
How do I know that's a game balance issue as opposed to you're not just using the tools that are provided to you?
Right. Well, like for us in this room, for us in this room, we've been playing for a while, right? I mean, how long have we been playing? Like 9 months, you know, just pretty, like substantially, yeah, like substantial amount of time has been spent playing this game. So we understand the ins and outs of the way classes work against each other, and we kind of take advantage of what we know. But I say a good portion of the people who play aren't necessarily that perceptive or have spent nearly that much time and gotten that much experience with it as we have. So where do you balance it? Do you balance it toward the end of you must be absolutely hardcore to be competitive, or do you balance it toward the end of anyone can drop in and play and be pretty good? So I don't know which one this change particularly goes for, but I think it's kind of limiting a bit of that cap on the skill ceiling. I think they've referred to that a few. It's kind of limiting that down a bit, and I don't know. Maybe it's necessary, maybe it's not. I don't know. It depends.
I mean, the thing that they really need to do is they need to have equal gear for testing,
yeah,
like actual balance
and matchmaking that's let us pick teams.
The easiest way to get an equal skill level across the board is to just pull from the top field of the players. You know, you get the top 5%, and there's no question, you know, they're going to be on equal skill level, and that is where you balance, because you know that it won't be because a bad player is facing a good player. It'll be because, okay, this piece of gear might be too much, or this weapon might do too much, you know, stuff like that. I mean, the way that they're balancing right now just isn't really the right way to go about it.
Yeah, there's some good discussion going on in the chat about, well, how do they distinguish the good players from the bad players? I don't know. Don't look at me. I know they had rumors going around of picking out a group of the top PvPers. Do you just go by matches played? Like, I have no idea. Like, how do you rate that in a system that doesn't necessarily have a skill-based matchmaker or tracking all those stats? Maybe they are tracking all those stats. I have no idea. You know.
Well, here's what they need to do, in my opinion. If you want to test balance, allow full squad pre-made PvP, 5-on-5, bring your best.
Set up
then see
scrimmage, you know. Yeah.
See which players are amassing lots of victories in those 5 versus 5 pre-mades. Ask their opinions, because obviously they're winning. You know, they're winning. They're using a strategy. They're doing well. I don't care who they are. It doesn't matter. I don't even care if I'm in that group or not. I'd like to be, but
I like to get feedback, but it doesn't. I don't think I'm not the most well. I can't aim as good as some people I know, but yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, no, that's cool. It's just we need to know. You need to take the StarCraft method, because again, there's too much margin of error with the people that are, the people that aren't playing. If they're not playing to win, how do we know that they're using the tools that are in front of them? They could just be complaining to complain. How do you know, if we're gonna need to, you know, reject the null hypothesis, so to speak, how do we know what they're saying is true? How do we know the status quo? You know what I'm saying? How do we know that they're not the issue and the game's the issue?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me I have a stats final on Wednesday. That's jerk. Null hypothesis bullshit. Sorry.
P is greater than 0.0. Oh my god.
I hate you so much. Anyways, just kidding. No, you have a good point though, as far as like, how do they know where the problem is until they see the high level play as it should be? Well, one of the things that we were going to do this week, but you know, scheduling issues and stuff, and we were going to move that to another time. but we had one of the in-house devs going to come on and talk about their in-house tournament they run. So they've done a couple of them over the last few months, and I wished I knew more details about them, but that's what we were going to bug him for, is that kind of information.
Vincino's team won this last tournament they had, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I have very limited info of it, but yeah, he was excited they did win. But they're doing 5-on-5 deathmatch with, from my understanding, each team has a team captain, picks his 4 guys in a draft kind of style, and then they all get level 15 frames and any gear they want to socket, from my understanding. Any gear, any ability, so they could pick and choose the best of the best gear and just make it, right? So that's kind of what I want to see happen in the beta test. I know it's not likely going to occur, but I'd love to see that, like, tournament style. Let's get 5 of our best players together against 5 of their best players and make a tournament out of it, or a whole, like, ladder. I mean, that sounds awesome.
Well, you know what you could do is maybe you let's say Digital Syndicate grabs their best 5, and K-Tab's crew grabs their best 5, and a bunch of other teams. We all duke it out for the rights to play against the developers, and whoever wins the community tournament gets the rights to play Red 5's best 5. I think that would be pretty cool.
That'd be neat.
I would. Yeah, and then you definitely see the top strategies coming out. I mean, if they're I can't take Red 5 seriously regarding PvP balance until they give us the methods and controls necessary to actually test it properly.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing, yeah.
Check the null hypothesis right now. How's that, Grab?
Why do you gotta keep reminding me? Stupid stats final. I say that, but I'm doing really good in that class, so I should know what you're talking about.
If you have any questions, I'm no expert, but I mean I did stats all undergrad, and I had to do a couple graduate courses in it. So.
Why are we talking about math again? Why do I keep doing this to myself? I don't know. Let's move on to the.
Math is very relevant to testing, man.
Yeah,
math,
yeah.
You know, they collected their metrics, they collected their data, and you know, I'm sure they have their methods of balance, but they need to do more of the StarCraft method. I'm telling you, that's how you balance a game, and not that it's perfect, and I'm sure they have their flaws too.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the best way, in my opinion.
Right, and I would agree. I agree with the chat. That event needs to be streamed. The community deathmatch versus the devs. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
If I'm playing against them, I would set up my own stream.
That would be.
Get on my desktop and everything, none of this laptop shit.
I think that would be an amazing kickoff to whatever esports they do. Is if they run a community tournament and the winning team plays against the winning dev team. I'm throwing out that suggestion right now, if that has not already been thought of, is to live stream that kickoff tournament to the esports that we are looking forward to, probably in the summer sometime, I hope. So,
or they could fly the winning team out to PAX and play them live.
Hey, there's something, like I would definitely be practicing for that.
There, and I would download any aimbot necessary. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Aimbot is a meta because that'll work.
That totally makes sense. You just lock on to people. It locks on to everyone around you. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyone walking by, just lock on.
It'll screwing me up. It'll wind up screwing me up more than doing any good.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, there was other mentions in the chat about some more esports stuff, and then I'm trying to remember. Oh, they were saying playing a dev team looks like it's going to be a piñata party. I'm not really sure what you mean by piñata party. I don't know that reference. But I'm assuming that means you think they would kick our ass, right? I mean, some of those devs are good.
No.
Is that not what that means?
PAX East, but I only played the game for an hour before we challenged them.
Fair enough.
Things have changed.
I think we have enough experience now where we would have a good shot. Most of us here, yeah.
I think
chat included. I mean, a lot of the chat.
The 5 that I want to grab versus them, I think we may embarrass them. We may get people fired.
Oh, that's not. No, I don't. I hope their job would not be related to that. I don't think.
I don't know, dude. They're required. I talked to Zeno, man. They're required to practice at least 2 hours a day. And if they're not, that you could get like written up. I think you'll get like written up by HR or something like that. Like, I don't know. Because you're not doing your job.
Get better at the game or quit the job. No, that's. I know. I feel bad for some of the devs who I just don't have the experience yet. They're newer, or they're just not FPS players. They're just working on like HR sides or whatever it is. The other marketing angles or something like that. They still like the game. They just aren't. They aren't going to be a competitive player. So it's yeah.
But I really want to go against Xenogenic again.
Yeah.
I'm really chomping at the bit to get to that.
And I'm personally, I really want to see a kind of a customizable tournament system, and hopefully that's coming soon. I don't know, I have no knowledge about any of that stuff personally, but hopefully some sort of bracketing where we can get a pre-made team up against a pre-made team. So that's all. That's all for the Recon Changes, I think.
That's
let's
balance.
yeah, let's move on to some of the other stuff that changed this week.
Sorry.
So one of the things that was big, and we'll still discuss a lot of the esports because this is all related anyways. Most of this is balance changes and that kind of stuff. The heal nade. You are a medic. You are a prominent medic, I'd imagine, in the community. So how did this change affect you?
I think it's a lot better because it follows a path of logic. Now, I understand that some people disagree with it, and I understand why, and not that their disputes don't hold water, but here's the logic. You have your overheal, you have your Vamp Beam. Let me get my fingers up there so you can see. And then you have your heal.
Look at the camera.
Where was I going now? You suck.
You were talking about null hypothesis? Yes, exactly.
I'm just breaking up. No, but seriously. But the overheal and the heal beam need a target nearby in order for heal back to occur.
And the Vamp Beam needs
heal
an enemy
did
target.
Not require
so.
that. That's correct.
Yep.
That's correct. But it's still a target. The heal nade was complete self-sufficiency, which I think goes against healing back. Anytime you're going to heal yourself, you should be attached to someone else. So I agree with the change.
I get it.
You know what it is? It still does a lot of healing on it, but that's okay because it forces them to be in a group.
Right.
And it forces them to kind of not run away and do it. And when they're in a group, it's a little the dynamics are different. So it kind of changes the way things are. What things are done. Personally, I think it's a fair change.
Yeah, there's some talk about the Vamp Beam in chat. When it's no aim required at all and the range is too large. My issue with the Vamp Beam is it locks on at a short range, but it will stay locked on really far. Like that's where it gets weird.
Paint gun represent.
Yeah,
sorry, paint gun represent GA, man. No doubt.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played with the pain gun, so I'm not sure how that one ran. But
pain gun, what it did was it slowed your target by 50% and let them take like 20% more damage. So if you were a pain target in GA, you need to either kill that medic or get the F out of dodge, one way or the other. Here's how they should fix it. One of the things that Global Agenda actually got right was their medic, because the leash never went over their head. The character should be on the screen, on your front screen, and if you break sight, you break line of sight, you break your target. I don't really like. I understand they did that in TF2, and I understand why they did it. But for Firefall, I don't think it's necessary for me to heal someone that's behind me when they started in front of me. I don't, as a medic, it lowers my skill ceiling. It lowers my skill ceiling, and I want the highest skill ceiling possible for every class, not just medic.
Okay.
So that way you can see, who really the good players are and who aren't.
Well, I mean, the suggestions like that have been thrown around, not out, but thrown around for the Vamp Beam, where maybe not giving a damage increase to the target, but instead of dealing damage so much, it's actually nullifying incoming healing. So if a Dread medic was coming in through your front door and you Vamp Beam the Dread, he's got to focus you down, or he's not going to get healing from his medic, which makes him drop.
And then what you could do, you can make a percentage of the damage done be the heal back, so there's your vampire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting. It's complicated, but interesting. I don't know, yeah.
But as far as, you know what it is, I don't think the medics should have straight damage, in my opinion, damage ability, other than their secondary. Obviously, that's ballistics, that's going to be, or your grenade launcher, that's going to be your damage dealer.
Yeah.
They really should be focusing more on support and healing, or debuffing the enemy, which actually, as I've said many times, should go to the engineer. But I digress.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of topics we can discuss on the medic stuff in particular. And with the upcoming inclusion of hinted at poison stuff, I mean that got a lot of people up in arms real quick. And I know we kind of covered that a little bit, I think, before. Did we? I think we talked about that briefly.
I think what we ended up with last time was as long as they kept them as separate classes, people wouldn't mind as much. The medic heals and the whatever you want to call it, poison, whatever, does everything offensive, then that wouldn't be so much of an issue. But when they start trying to mix and match, it kind of draws away from both classes and makes them not as good as they should be.
Yeah, I mean, there's The thing I'm worried about when they run poison medics is that there's going to be people who are listed on the tab screen as medics who aren't going to be healing you. Like, does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
when you run into,
that's why we ended up with switching so that they're separate classes.
Right.
Like you said, you don't want to be looking at the scoreboard and think you have a medic, but oh wait, he's not a medic.
Right.
You don't want that.
Yeah, that was a big problem in Global Agenda. You'd be doing Merc PvP, and you see 4 medics on your team, and then they would all be poison medics. Now they have the capability to heal you, but if you're not specting the healing, you're not carrying the offhands that do the major stuff, and your heal beam isn't gonna cut it. So they really need to make a separate class for that if they're gonna do that. I don't recommend it. I think they should take any of the debuffs they were thinking about and toss them onto the engineer. Give them some more combat prowess other than turret, shield, and.
Well, I know they've been working on engineer stuff too, but from the little rumors and speculation I've heard wind of, I guess, is that the poison medic is not what we think it's going to be. It's not going to be like I'm going to put a dot on you and then run away. That's not what, from what I told, that's not at all what it's going to be. It's more about quote unquote aerial denial. So kind of like putting down, you know how the toxic piranhas have kind of that acid pool, that kind of thing. So if that's the case, I'm a little, it's an avoidable area of damage that's just in the area that you're standing in. So if you're trying to hack a point, it makes more sense. But if you're trying to push
like Spittergoo from Left 4 Dead 2.
Maybe. I mean, this is all theories. Who knows what it's going to be? But that's all rumors that I've picked up from left and right of center. And then, who knows? I guess we'll see. But I understand that a lot of the devs or whatever share our opinion that DOTs aren't fun in a shooter. Like, just being hit with a dot of poison that's going to last for the next 10 seconds, and you not being able to do anything about it, like, kind of sucks. Like, I don't want to run around a corner and die quietly. I want to, get blown up or something at least. That's way better. But I don't know. There's plenty of different options they could go with, and I guess it's up to them what they end up trying out, and then we'll give them feedback, right? That's what we're here for. We'll run through it and we'll tell you for sure. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I like the idea of poison, so I may be a little biased going into it. But it's, I'm still gonna give you feedback on what I see. So
But on the flip side of that, if the poison actually does work out and they can sell you, then that means it must be pretty good.
Sure. If somehow they convince me to put away my prejudice against poison and go ahead and embrace that as a class choice, then sure, great job.
I mean, Vinkel is just validating what you're saying. He's saying that that poison isn't very skill based, which I'm inclined to agree. Even if it is debuffs, I mean, it would have to be like a targeted thing, like where you throw something, not just a wave where you go, I landed me and hit my button.
I like how I like how our chat is making Diablo 3 jokes about molten immune electrified medics. Diablo 3 came out this week, and a lot of us have been playing it pretty far, so. It's dumb stuff.
I like Diablo 3.
Yeah,
no, just kidding. Never played it.
I don't know. It's a silly joke, but yep, exactly. Molten Invulnerable Knockback. Yeah, it's true. So, they had a question earlier about what game is this show about, and I guess we don't have the Firefall logo, but we're discussing a game called Firefall. So if that answers your question.
Melding Cast episode 4 on top.
Well, on the
Ryzen 63 is playing Firefall on Fragworld.
Right. It says that, but not everybody reads everything, so I'm just trying to say it out loud, I guess.
Well, then, we can't help that. We can't make the world literate.
I can't teach everybody, but I can try, right? It's the way it goes. Hey, a logo wouldn't hurt, right? A logo wouldn't hurt. I'll work on that. We can always make improvements, always, right? So, okay, let's talk about. Also, one of the other bugs that was fixed for the medic before we get off that topic was the rate of fire change. It was a weirdly worded thing. So, the rate of fire for the heal was taking the rate of fire from the target instead of the medic. Is that?
Yeah.
That sounds like.
Picked that out. I don't know if he's in chat. If you could explain that, because I mean, I didn't. I
never noticed. I
never noticed it. I didn't notice anything shady about it. I haven't noticed my heels going down at all. I'm still able to keep my targets up. So I mean, we got T-Dops here. give him a
I
chance
think
to
the only
give
noticeable
like just a
thing
very
about
brief
that was
explanation,
the
buddy.
Dreadnought, wasn't it?
Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Reggie.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the only thing noticeable about the rate of fire was if you had like a Dreadnought that was firing like ridiculously fast, was changing the rate of fire.
Right, turret mode. Didn't think about that. Turret mode or supercharge, for that matter, would boost his own rate of fire, therefore boosting the rate of fire of the medic on him. That's a weird bug, dude. Like, gotta say, I don't know where that got started. Like, we're typing in chat trying to figure out who even thought that was a bug at all. Like, we're talking about 5% increase, 10% increase in total, but I don't know. So it was only using your target's rate of fire no matter what. Inverted. Okay, so reduced? So if they had higher rate of fire, you were healing them less? Is that how that worked out?
No, it was it was the target's rate of fire is what you were using. So if you had a Dreadnought in turret mode firing ridiculously fast, then you were healing fast.
I'm getting a no. Yes, no,
No,
yes.
yes, make up your mind.
Okay, I don't know. So, but whatever it was, it's apparently been repaired. So if someone wants to go ahead and type out kind of a concise explanation, I will try to read it out loud. But no one seems to understand. I don't claim to understand what happened originally that caused this weird rate of fire issue to happen this way. So I guess we'll just hop on to the next subject here. I know, Firewater, you said you had noticeable FPS increase this week from whatever changes they made.
Yeah, see, the thing is, on my laptop I have an HD 6990M, which sounds really cool, but really performs at the level of an HD 6850, which is made by AMD. I've noticed that just even while I'm streaming too, much noticeable FPS increase. I've yet to test this on my desktop because I play more on my laptop than I do on my desktop. I don't know if anyone who's using an AMD card notices a difference, because I know they were struggling for a while with the AMD cards as opposed to the NVIDIA ones, and I know that's been all over the forums since the beginning of beta. I think they finally got some bugs ironed out, and it's definitely running much smoother.
Cool.
Yeah, no, just
so good news.
Throw that out there.
I mean,
see if anyone else noticed the same thing.
I haven't had frame rate issues. I had previous lag issues that seem to have partially cleared up, but occasional still have problems. But they were extreme for the last couple weeks, so I was kind of on a bit of a break until that cleared up. The word is from chat on that Dreadnought medic thing was, quote, if a Dreadnought has 10% fire rate and I'm healing him, then I heal him 10% slower. So it was inverted. That's weird. I don't know how do you even catch that, T-Dops? I have no idea. Like, how do you even notice?
It's pretty impressive. I'll give it
yeah.
that.
So props to figuring that one out and getting that one fixed before no one else even noticed that was an issue. So, well, you got credit for it, T-Dops. So I assume it was you. Anyways, it's weird reading the chat and not having them talk in the stream. So maybe we can work on that at some point too. But. The next big thing is that players must do at least 20% of damage on target to receive an assist. So no more assists just from tagging people. So that sin beacon that Recon's got, it's not really... yeah, so...
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
You should have to do something.
I think they removed that ability a while ago, because sin beacon targeting wasn't actually counting as assists. I mean, I know originally it did, but it didn't give you that much... in terms of assists.
Well, from my understanding, you have to, according to the notes at least, they must do at least 20% of damage on a target to get the assist. So, just spraying one person with one bullet doesn't necessarily give you an assist, or tagging them doesn't necessarily give you an assist. That's what I'm told. So,
I have no issue with that, because it'll bring the overall number of assists down to a more reasonable level, because I mean you were like seeing some crazy amount of assists in some matches,
yep.
Like 70, 80, and that kind of needed to come down.
Well, a lot of that was
is if they raise the assist experience to compensate that for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you're going to be getting less, but you still want to incentivize assists, then you need to make it worthwhile.
Vinkel, to answer your question, he asks, how does the new assist system affect the medic, since the medic obviously isn't dealing damage? My understanding is, as long as the medic is healing the person that's dealing the damage, he's getting an assist, as far as I understand it.
And just a quick point about medics now, medics get XP for overhealing.
Oh, is that new?
That is very new because once the target reached full health, I could overheal him. That's great, but I never got experience for it.
Okay.
So that's something I noticed recently. Just doing that around town and doing it in game.
There's also,
that is definitely much different.
if I understand, I think Dave was talking about this a long time ago about, I think it's 10 seconds after you stop healing a target. If he gets a kill, you still get an assist for that, I believe. Which is why
That's about fair.
I think it was about the same time frame where, like, say you were healing someone, you brought him up to full, and then he got a kill, even though you weren't directly attached to him. I think you still get an assist for that. I don't know the time frame exactly, and I don't know the algorithms
10
behind it.
seconds seems kind of long.
It might not be that long. It might be 5. But I had once heard I had heard 15. I think at one point it was 15. Yeah, 15's a long time because you would healing wave a room, and then people would come in and you just get assist, and you didn't heal anybody. You just healing waved everyone, and that counted as a heal. So it started that timer, and then any kills they all got, you all got assists. That's why a long time ago. That's why one of the main reasons medics were getting such crazy XP. It's just a lot of assists.
Well, what they should do is they should make it 5 seconds, or if your target's overhealed and it goes beyond 5 seconds, once they're overhealed, drops back to equilibrium, then that's cut.
Okay.
You know, whichever lasts longer. So I think that would be reasonable. Maybe 10 seconds is a little too long.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have all this stuff all reasonably set up. I don't have any issues XP wise with that stuff right now. So if we notice an issue, then I'm sure we'll bring it up. But next up, Recon body shot damage set to 400 instead of the other one, which we kind of covered a bit earlier as far as
600 base. Wasn't it 550?
I think it was 550, but then
it was.
Well, who's our snipers in chat? Which one was it? 550 or 7? I thought it was 550.
550, I think was the level 1.
Level 1 base
damage. So that's quite a difference. I mean that means taking an extra shot, sometimes 2, depending on who you're fighting, and that is a lot of extra shots that you're having to take. Because I mean these shots aren't like super fast like the marksman rifle. They actually take some time between shots. So I'm not really understanding why they're so hell bent on making recons at such a disadvantage for close range. I mean, I understand wanting certain classes to have advantages over others in certain areas, and as they said, heroic moments. You know, they want an assault up in the face of recon to have a better chance, but you don't want to make it so that recon has no chance. I mean, that just kind of makes it unfair.
I think if they, you know, as I stated before, if they just fix the quick scoping and just revert that back to how it was always, but drop the body shot damage, I don't have a problem with that. Recon should be at a disadvantage in close, but if they quick scope and get a headshot, then they quick scope and get a headshot. That's legit.
Yeah, but some of that was nerfed, so that's one of the concerns as well. So
yeah, I mean they could always pull out their secondary too. I mean you don't always have to use your sniper rifle. But I think Red 5, it would be in the best interest of the game to remove that 500 milliseconds of. I just don't know why that's built in. I'm going to be honest, I haven't really tested it. I go by Superior's opinion. He's kind of okay with that, but I think that the damage nerf was fine.
Perhaps both is too much.
Yeah, I think I do want to see them be able to defend themselves up close. Because fair is fair. There should be no hard counters to anything in any competitive game. Meaning the Wraith versus the Firebat. You know, nobody wants to be the Firebat, everyone wants to be the Wraith, right? To use a StarCraft reference. Firebat can't shoot back. So there shouldn't be any, and that seems to be going more towards a hard counter. Like, if I get in close with my Dread now, you better hit me in the head, otherwise, I don't know. You know, you're not going to be doing so hot.
As the chat is mentioning, they're saying the head volumes have not been changed yet. They were talking about the hit boxes for the headshots being changed. That's probably still being worked on. So I don't know much about that. Yeah, but
they're going to make that smaller, and they're going to have the quick scope in, and they're going to have the reduced damage. No one's going to play recon.
Yeah, like
you're going to gimp the class to paralysis there. You know.
Like I'm looking at Kazuya's post right now, and he made an excellent point in that all these changes that they've made over the past couple weeks have effectively doubled the time to kill for recons who can't get headshots. So that it'll discourage players from playing recon if they're not as good and can't land all their headshots. But at the same time, it's punishing good players because you're not going to land a headshot every time. I mean, sometimes you have to aim for the body, and that's punishing them because they know they can't get a headshot and they're trying to do damage anyway, and they're getting punished for it.
Yeah, I think that's partially what's happening. I'm hoping that they will take another look at them relatively soon and kind of maybe go, hey, maybe we should pull this back a little bit. So we'll see. I think we should move on from the recon subject for now because there's not a whole lot we can do about it at this point. So I don't personally have a lot as far as my own experience with playing recon. So I know they're working on a lot of rebalancing for other classes too. So let's see if they still fit in the same place here in a couple weeks. Next big thing, level appropriate PvP loot finally.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And on a side note, I just got my first epic today.
Yay.
You have no idea how awesome that is.
And now they're
level
gonna
10 grenade launcher.
They're probably
they're gonna wipe characters next patch. Probably
next week or the week after, most likely. I don't. They've said that for the last month, so I don't really know. But we've said that for the last month. So there will be a wipe relatively soon, and it's probably a branch.
Because I have to do some PvE now, so because I'm running out of mats. So
I know, right?
I'm excited about my epic grenade launcher. It was an epic heal gun 5. 3 slots with epic heal.
I spent so much time weeks ago before it even went 24/7. I spent so much time just staying logged in and just farming thumpers over and over again. I have more materials than I can do anything with. Like I don't have enough crystite to make stuff with it. So it's like, okay,
thank you.
I have 1,300 refined coralite. All right, like I don't know. Everything costs 12. Like I don't. Like I could make 1,500 of these things, I guess, but I don't need to. Because it all costs 100,000 crystite I don't have. So it's like, I'm great. Anyways, so yeah, awesome. Finally, no more level 2 greens every single PvP match. Also, the other change there is that only the winning team gets items. So, sure. Fine with me.
Fair is fair.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to win occasionally, right? I mean, you'll get some stuff. So, I don't know. Exactly. Someone spent 300,000 on plasma cannons and just got the AOE blues. I've actually only gotten AOEs out of the crafting as well. That's the only thing I have from crafting as many plasma cannons as I could to make a wanted a fire rate or anything else besides splash radius. But not possible apparently. So I don't know. There could be an issue there. Maybe we should we should bring that up. Anyways, reduce the camera shake associated with being hit by the plasma cannon. Also decrease the radius of when the camera shake would be applied. So I think that's good. Even though I play Assault, I think it was too much. I mean, you'd get hit and it was I can't see anything. Oh god, like run away because
what it reminded me of was the old engineer. Oh my god, that was horrendous. Like, it was like an earthquake was going on. They were like, what the hell is going on my screen?
Here, I can demonstrate here. Ready? It was like this. Oh god, I can't see anything. What is happening? Oh, I'm getting attacked by an engineer. That's what it is. Okay. Yes, that's what it was.
Someone else user. Stop.
Remember that? That was horrible.
Yeah, old engineer, like ridiculous damage on blue bolts. Their rate of fire was twice of what it was now, and they did massive screen shake.
They didn't do much damage, but man, they messed you up. Like just like, oh god, I can't get away and can't shoot anything.
No, they did more damage back in it. I believe they did
I thought the DPS was technically lower. They just fired more of them. I thought it was like 30 damage a hit or less, and I think it's more than that now. But anyways, yeah, so that screen shake was pretty nuts back then. I'm glad it's not around as much. This screen shake change I think is needed because if you start messing with people's camera angles, they get a little upset when things go around. So we're almost wrapped up as far as changes this week, so we're gonna kind of close it out pretty quick here. If you guys have any questions from the chat, go ahead and bring them up.
We forgot something.
I know there's more.
It was the best change ever.
What change did we forget?
Level appropriate loot.
I just talked about that. I just
Yeah, totally just
just
talked
now.
about that. Welcome to 5 minutes ago.
Like
You
it
did really
just
good.
it just happened.
I'm zoned out a little bit.
To be fair, he has taken. This is directed toward the chat. To be fair, he has taken some pain medication today because he's in a lot of pain. So go easy on him. He just was out in his own world for a bit. It's fine. Yeah, we just mentioned that momentarily. Oh yeah, we have a key giveaway. We do have at least one invite to give out for those of you who were in chat and want to play. What were we even doing? You guys want to just guess a number for the people who won it? Because there's a lot of people in chat who are already in, and I don't want to give them another key. They already have a key.
We'll use the honor system. I mean, I don't know everyone that's in chat, so hopefully, if you're in beta, if you not participate, that would be
right.
cool.
Yeah, just
let someone else get a chance.
let someone else get the key. I mean, if you guys are already in, don't worry. Don't try to hoard it from them. But it is, I believe, it is Brontodon's invite, so I will probably let them handle it. Do you want to? Let's see. Do you want to draw a number? Do you want to post it in chat? It's kind of up to you. While you're working that out, let me refer to some of the other stuff that we're going to do. Some closing comments. So Barnabound.com, as we just mentioned, they are doing some neat stuff with Firefall, and then Fragworld, we are setting up our armory for the Firefall right now. I have access to the back end finally, even though it's going to be changed again in like a week. But yeah, I'm setting up some stuff that works out well. I'm making some maps. I've got some things coming. So, well, I could use random Finkel. The thing is that a lot of people in this chat are already in beta, and I would like to give it to people who are not currently in beta, who want to just join in with us. So,
really, that's your question, Punk? Really? Okay.
That's fine.
I'm not gonna judge. No,
hey,
I'm kidding.
That's fine.
Let's see who PMs Punk first. Now, PM Punk, not.
Chat.
Fair
yeah. So yeah, PM Punk with your answer. You all right? Yeah. For those of you live, answer the question, and Punk will get you an invite. Okay. Let's see. Also, they want to announce that they are hosting the Firefall webcomic from Rogue Pope. Some of you guys have seen his work done recently. It's pretty funny stuff about random Firefall related comics. It's pretty silly, but and then also Zeno mentioned in IRC a few days ago they are looking at big changes upcoming for the upcoming weeks. So we don't have any direct info on a lot of the stuff, but there's crafting changes, ability changes like turret mode 2 no longer existing apparently. I don't even know what that means, but sure. Like, yeah, he did mention that Grums was teaching him how to leak stuff, so he's slightly hinting at certain specific things, but not able to give any kind of full information, as Grums is known to do. He's just like, I'm going to talk about this. Oh, we haven't announced that at all? Oh, that's fine. Whatever, I just did. It's cool. What, light ground vehicles? Yeah, we have those. Oh, you guys don't have those? Oh. Yeah, those are in the game. Sorry. Like, I don't know. Anyways, so that's Grums for you. That's always funny. If you guys have seen, who's the artist that does the? Do you guys remember? The one of the Red 5 artists that does the packs.
Extra?
No, it's what's his name? Beatal.
Beatal.
Yeah, he does all the silly comics. His interpretation of Grums's childhood excitability is hilarious to me. Like just that. Buy more, just kind of funny stuff. But yeah, Beatal's a fun guy. I wish I had a link for you. If someone could find those comics that he made about the pack stuff.
It's fun as Deviant art.
Is it DeviantArt? Beware of DeviantArt, man. You got to be careful over there. There's some weird stuff that happens in there. Yeah. Anyways, so let's wrap it up this week. Any other closing comments from you, Firewater?
Not right now. Again, the key to successfully balancing PvP is to allow pre-made squads and take the top of those pre-made squads based off the amount of victories that they get, and then see what they're doing, get their opinion, and analyze their data. That's the only way you're going to balance PvP, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, I don't know who those players would be, but you could figure it out.
We have to find out.
Yeah.
We have to find out. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know who they are either.
I'd rather them pull from a bigger pool of players than not enough players. So, I mean,
certainly.
yeah.
Here,
yeah. Any closing comments from you, Reggie?
See ya.
So yeah, nice. Well, your medications are working, as we can tell. So thanks a lot for joining us. For those of you who read that, my favorite comment is still "Jump Dave Williams." It makes sense once you read the little comic. Jump Dave Williams. I don't know why that's so funny to me. It just is. So thanks a lot for joining us today, guys. We'll be back next week. We're trying to work on special guest timing, but there's some announcement issues and other stuff that we have to work on before we can actually get that announcement out there. So probably around the same time next week, and Soup should be back in the saddle and streaming on his channel at Superior, Twitch TV/Superior. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Closing the stream down, and I'll see you guys next week.